Yes, hello, welcome everybody to MoDXtra. It's Chris here from the MOD, and I'm going to do a show and tell video today. Yes, it's going to be super fun. I'm going to talk about novelty, gimmicky comic book covers from back in the 1990s. Well, specifically, gimmicky comic book covers from the Superman titles back in the 1990s. I'm starting a series today because, simply put, I've got that many of these novelty comic book covers in my comic book collection. I've had to break it down into several videos. But let's put it into context. I've been going through my comic book collection lately on the vodcast, which you absolutely should check out. Andy, my partner in crime, and I have been talking comic books and doing rereads of some of my faves, and so I was going through the collection just looking for some inspiration and some ideas for comic books to put in front of Andy to read. He's not a big comic book fan, so I'm kind of introducing him to some of this stuff for the very first time. And as I was going through, I came across some of these novelty comic book covers, some of these gimmicky comic book covers, and it made me all nostalgic about it because I was collecting titles, a number of titles, very heavily around 1992, 93, 94, sort of a 3 or 4 year period around there. Would have been around 12, 13, 14 years old at that point, and I was clearly a mug, absolute sucker for these gimmicky novelty comic book covers. The publisher's strategy to make more money out of me clearly worked because I've got tons of them, which is why I've had to start a series and break it down into several videos. And I was like a magpie in a comic shop. If I saw a first edition or not a first edition, a first issue that was all shiny or holographic or reflective or glue in the dark or whatever, there's all sorts of weird gimmicks, I would pick it up, fancying myself a bit of a comic book collector, a speculator to make money for the future. Of course, none of these accrued any value because everybody buying these gimmicky comic book covers thought the same, and so the market is flooded with them. And I think a lot of these I'm going to show you today can get pretty cheap on eBay or, out of comic shop displays. I don't think there's many of them that are particularly super value, or certainly I haven't got many super valuable ones here. And in today's video, as I say, I'm going to take a look at the Superman titles, the gimmicky Superman titles that I have around the time, as you can see here, of the famous Death of Superman title. So let's get into it, shall we? And let's start taking a look at some of these titles. Yes, okay then. So I'm a big DC fanboy, although you'll see from a later video that I'll do on this that I was also reading a lot of X-Men at this time, so keep your eyes and ears open for a video on their novelty gimmicky covers. And I was particularly reading around the time of 1993, which, as I say, was when the famous Death of Superman storyline took place. And there were lots, because there were so many landmark events in this storyline, they did an awful lot of landmark novelty comic book covers. This one here is issue 75, the actual issue in which Superman died. Spoiler alert if you've not read that storyline, but a monstrous, aggressive beast by the name of Doomsday just arrives on Earth, and he's just filled with rage and destruction, and he tears through the Justice League, a Justice League team I have a very fond place in my heart for, actually, because I was reading that title a lot at that time as well. And he eventually starts steaming his way towards Metropolis, where he meets Superman, and he and Superman just get into a big ruck, a massive scrap, and the result of that scrap is the death of both Doomsday and Superman. And to mark the actual moment of death, the issue in which Superman dies, they did this. Oh, I'll move that one out of the way for a minute. They did a polybagged edition with loads of, as you can see here, it's got the issue with the fold-out splash cover, the memorial poster, the full-colour commemorative stamps, a Daily Planet obituary, a Black Morning armband, and an exclusive Skybox trading card in a polybag. Now, I said before, this strategy clearly worked because I have a fully polybagged version here, and somewhere in those boxes I've got an actual standard issue 75. So I bought an issue 75 to read, and then I bought this one thinking I was going to be this super amazing comic book collector. And like I say, I think if you go on eBay, you can probably get one of these for like, I don't know, 10, 15 quid. So there it is. And let's crack it open, shall we? I don't care. Let's just have a look and see what was included in this polybagged edition, so you can have a quick closer look at the kind of the novelty gimmicky elements. So here we go. We've got the Tombstone cover. There's Doomsday there, getting into it with Superman. The famous pictures. You can see there, it was very... Oh, there's the armband. So that you can, share your grief with other Superman fans. But it was a really interesting issue. You can see that a lot of the pages were just these kind of full colour glass breaking, everything kicking off. Superman and Doomsday really getting into it. Lois and Jimmy there looking on, horrified. You know, there's the remnants of the Justice League who survived their encounter with Doomsday. You know, it was just really epic. And there's the final moment, the famous image. If I just sort of, I'll start there like that and scroll across. So spoiler alert if you've not read this story, and the cape flapping in the wind there, very famous. But yeah, super gimmicky title. Super gimmicky title there. You've got the armband that I've just taken a look at. Here's the Daily Planet obituary that was included in it. The trading card. I don't even know what set that's from. 00 Doomsday Death of Superman trading cards. Oh, it was a set that came out in 1992, according to this. There's the stamps. I don't think they're actually usable for postage. And then finally, the Death of Superman poster, which is a bit big for the setup of thing, but it's got the cover for the Funeral for a Friend issue that followed. Here's all the characters. There's Ray. I've got a shiny cover of his issue 1 somewhere. Maxima, Guy Gardner when he was a Yellow Power Ring guy. The Legion over here. There's Lobo. Awesome. Yeah, really awesome. Metamorpho, Guardian, Black Canary. There's this kind of Justice League line up at the front there. Yeah, really excellent. Where's Batman? Even a Darkseid creeping around in the back there, look. And a Deathstroke. So yeah, there you go. That's the kind of give you a sense of. That's probably one of the more kind of extravagant sort of gimmicky titles that they had. There's the Death of Superman. I've got another one actually that I bought 2 of. I found both editions, so I'll crack that one open in a minute. But then a bit later on, this one, as you can see, Teenage Chris didn't take very good care of his comic books. It's all battered. What this had on it, which you can't see here, and I haven't got a second copy of this, sorry, was it had this like little sheet, this sort of luminescent, is that the right word? Like a sheet over the top that had Jonathan Kent's arm up here sort of reaching out to Superman's arm, and when you peeled it off you could just see there. I don't know what's happened, it's probably just got peeled off through the years. Early June 93 this says, and this is just sort of picking up some of the storyline after of the Kent's grief over the death of Superman and backdoor piloting the next phase in this storyline, which I'll show you some titles of in a minute. So yeah, Death of Superman. Oh, the sun's just come out. Oh my word. That doesn't happen around these parts very often. Let me sort that out. There you go. I don't look like some sort of ephemeral creature now. So yeah, there you go. That was around the kind of actual Death of the Superman point. You can see Back from the Dead, and they had these little sort of titles going across the top of them. But let me show you now what kind of happened in the next phase that this title led into. So off the back of Superman's death, each of the 4 independent Superman titles that were running at the time, which was Adventures of Superman, Superman in Action Comics, and the Man of Steel, Superman the Man of Steel, each kind of introduced a replacement Superman for the city of Metropolis, someone who stepped into the Superman role. Ooh, little spoiler there. Stepped into the Superman role through various means, various different things going on. And to commemorate and mark these 4 new Supermen that were stepping in a series that was called The Reign of the Supermen, they had these, I think they're called die-cut titles, so where you had this kind of front card section with the Superman symbol carved out of the cardboard, and then when you peeled it back you get the actual cover, which would reveal the replacement Superman. So this character here in the Man of Steel is John Henry Irons, otherwise known now as Steel, and he was a Superman fan who'd had his life saved by Superman in the past and decided to use his incredible talents to create a big kind of Iron Man style super suit with his mega mallet, because he was a labourer on a construction site, to step in and look after the little guy, look after the parts of Metropolis that was going ignored. And there was a whole storyline about these super guns that he was chasing after. And look at that, I've kept the poster that came with this one too. There you go. That might not be true of all of them, but there's a poster That's Lois Lane meeting. Look at the state of that. You can see the sellotape lines. I obviously had it up on a wall at some point. So there you go. There's the Man of Steel. So that's the Man of Steel. You then had the Adventures of Superman, which had again the die cut open there, and you can see that this told the story of Superboy. This was a Superman clone of Superboy. A Superman clone that was developed by Cadmus Labs using Superman's DNA to bring Superman to life. I really was a very big fan of what's his name? Tom Grummett's artwork. He appears a lot. In fact, I've got some Teen Titans that he was drawing at the time as well. I'm not as much of a fan of it now, but in my there's Bibbo. In my later years, but back then I really appreciated the very kind of clean lines. So that followed the story of Superboy, this Superman clone. Actually, I don't really remember what happened to that character. Maybe someone let me know in the comments below. What happened to this version of Superboy? I'm not sure. Oh, look, I did keep the poster in this one as well. Here's Superboy then. Rescuing a lady from the bath. The horny teenager that he is. Yeah, you can see again, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the sellotape lines, I obviously had these posters up on the wall. So there was Superboy. Then we had in Action Comics, this was a really interesting one, The Last Son of Krypton, and this was a character who went on to become known as the Eradicator, who was claiming he was like this resurrected version of Superman, who'd been brought back by special Kryptonian stuff. Spacey sci-fi Kryptonian resurrection technology, if I remember right. I could be wrong. And he was claiming he was the actual Kal-El brought back from things happened with him, obviously. Did I keep the poster? Let's have a look at the back. I did keep the poster. Check me out. Probably also covered it. Yeah, there they are. There's the little sticky sellotape lines. There's the Eradicator in all his glory with his glowing laser fists. And then finally we've got the actual Superman title, which had this cyborg version of Superman, which was claiming to be the resurrected Superman, but with, cybernetic enhancements to bring him back to life, which was really interesting too. He turned out to be, very naughty indeed. Spoiler alert. Very naughty person indeed. Did I keep the poster? Yes, I did. Oh, look, the sellotape's even still kind of, the dirty old 90s sellotape was still hanging off that one. Yeah, there he is, in all his glory. Can you see that all right? Yeah, very good. So yeah, there you go. There's some example of some cutout covers using, and this was a popular strategy, kind of, so that on the shelf in the comic book shop, you couldn't really see what it was revealing. You had to buy the title, open up the poly bag to take a look and see what the cover was actually telling you. I've got a great Wolverine one that I'll show you in the X-Men vid with the claws. Anyway, this is the Superman one. So there you go. There's some example of some die cut covers. Let's move on to take a look at some other types of gimmicky covers that the Superman titles used at that time. Well, as you probably well know, dear viewer, in the world of comic books, characters don't stay dead for very long, and Superman did, in fact, make his return. And his return was marked by the conclusion of the Reign of Superman story in the Superman title 82, which, as you can see here, is what's known as, I think they call it a chromium cover or chrome cover. Shiny cover there. See the back of it, you can see the sort of shininess of it. Ooh. Bit of wear and tear on that. These chrome covers, really significant events actually at this point in the storyline. It kicked off a whole Hal Jordan Green Lantern set of events because Coast City, the whole city, was the victim of the evil version of Cyborg Superman's nefarious plans. Again, I won't go into too much detail in case you ever want to read the title. This is about showing off the shiny covers. So if I just waggle it around my lamps. If I turn the blast up on my lamp, it's not really working. But yeah, there you go. There's the kind of shiny example of the covers, which then led into the return of Superman range of storylines. But again, look, great artwork at the time. Look at this. Yeah, there's the Eradicator being all evil. I'm evil, I'm mean. Threw his lot in with Mongol and the Cyborg, you know. Here's Green Lantern here, I mentioned. He had a big part to play in the storyline. Led to the whole Parallax Hal Jordan thing. Which again, I think I've got a chrome cover for the finale of that one. I'll have another route through the boxes for the next DC video. So yeah, here's Superman returned from the dead, fighting his way through, not fully powered, so he had to tool up, you know, had to find other ways and means of getting his mantle back. Supergirl was an ally of his at that point there, and there's the moment of whew, awesome, innit? Epic picture that. With his long hair, like mine. He was in lockdown too, and hadn't gone for a haircut. Let's see if I can make mine a bit more kind of quiffy, like. No, never mind. So yeah, there you go. There's the kind of example of a chromium cover. Have I got another chromium cover? Oh no, but I've got this one here. Adventures of Superman 505, which was so that's October '93. Hang on, I'm just trying to put these. You know, yeah, October '93. So these two kind of led into each other. This is what they call a lenticular cover. If I just give it a little wiggle under the light there, you can sort of see the kind of... Oh, there you go. That's a good angle for it. See the sort of lenticular fireworks and stuff. I've got a few more examples of these for later videos. So this tells the story of kind of Superman's, after he defeated the villains, his sort of proper return. You know, yeah, yeah. Well done, Superman. Gone back to see Lois and the sort of aftermath of the big battle, and him re-establishing himself in Metropolis as the hero protector of the city. Oh, Maggie Sawyer there. There's Lex Luthor with a red beard. That was a whole storyline in its own right. The son of Lex Luthor, but it wasn't the son of Lex Luthor. It was actually Lex Luthor in a cloned body. Comics are brilliant, aren't they? But yeah, this. So I've got this here as an example of a lenticular cover. Again, shiny. Magpie Chris in the comic book shop couldn't resist this. Look at that. Look at that. I've got a great Teen Titans one as well with a lenticular cover that we'll take a look at. So yeah, there you go. That was Superman's return. And then finally, Superman's return, they did one other really interesting thing. This is in the Man of Steel. It was a little bit later in February. That's the copy I bought for reading. That's the copy that I bought and kept in the bag. And this was Lobo, if I remember rightly. I should have reread all these properly before coming in. This was Lobo coming back to Metropolis to check whether the Superman that he'd heard about this return to Metropolis was in fact the real Superman. You know, in some weird sort of Lobo logic, he was going to fight him and batter him to check whether it is in fact the real Superman and whether he was tough enough to take him bad. So weird title. Well, the novelty of this one, sticking to the theme of the video, the gimmick of this was that it had this cover on it here, and there was a set of sort of transfer stickers that came with it, so you could then make your own cover. Make your own cover. In fact, you know what? Because I kind of don't care. Let's crack this open. What year are we in now? 2020. So that has been in the bag. 93, 2003. For 17 years unopened. And I've just opened it there like that, all casual. But yeah, here we go. Here's the sheet of stickers that came with it. So you could then build your own comic book cover by peeling these off and making your own design. Funny, eh? The things they thought of. And again, you know, I'd have been 13 at this point. Couldn't resist a novelty comic book cover like that at all. And obviously on the other edition, I don't know where the stickers went, but I clearly made my own cover at one point. Good fun, eh? Good fun. And then finally, last one in this kind of aftermath thing. This was a little bit later. This was a few years later, but I just found this one randomly in the mix with these titles, and I don't know how it ended up in there, but because it's in the wrong place. But this is a glow-in-the-dark Superman title. It is I'm recording this in the middle of the day, so I can't really demonstrate the glow-in-the-darkness, but the Superman here, it's all this kind of rough glow-in-the-dark and the sort of lines on this was the famous blue outfit. I was obviously still picking. I'd stopped kind of collecting them issue by issue at this point, so I think maybe I just bought this one because it was a gimmicky novelty cover, because it mixed in with my Death of Superman stuff, and it really shouldn't have been. It was much later. But yeah, that's just an example of a glow in the dark cover. In fact, actually, let me try and shut the thing and see if it. I don't know if that made any difference, whether you can see. No. Alright, epic fail on that one. Epic fail, but there you go. There's an example of a glow-in-the-dark cover that was telling the story of Superman's transformation into the blue energy, lasery Superman guy. All very exciting stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go, folks. That's just a little show and tell, a little walk through a collection of gimmicky novelty 90s Superman titles that I collected when I was a young teenage lad. I hope you enjoyed that. So, like I say, this is the first. What I'll probably do is I'll probably do the X-Men next. Take a look at my X-Men titles next and do a video on those and show you some of the gimmicky comic book covers from the 90s that the X-Men churned out. They churned out a lot of gimmicky novelty covers. Then maybe jump back to DC. I've got some Batman and then some like random sort of DC first issues and stuff that were done with gimmicks and things. So stick around if you want to see those. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that YouTubey thing. Hit the notification bell so you can see when we post a new video. And if you'd like to hear me and Andy talk about comic books on our vodcast every 2 weeks on a Monday, we have a segment, a 20-minute segment on comic books where I present a title that I enjoyed, that I really love to Andy, and he reads it and shares his thoughts as a kind of first-time ever reader. And in our first ever episode, we did The Watchmen, so I threw him right in at the deep end. So please do check that out if you get a moment too. Otherwise, thanks for coming along and taking a look at my little show and tell demonstration of Superman gimmick covers. And I'll see you on the next one, folks. Okay, thanks. Bye.